it's Kelly. I have something a little special for you today. So if you've been watching my channel, you know that I have a new great nephew, and my niece asked me to make his baby album. Well, you know, I'm a scrapbooker, so baby album is not just baby albums, it's gonna be baby albums, really, because what I'm really doing is putting all of his photos that have been taken by me, other people. His mom and dad and I share an album so that she can send me things really easily, but if I get sometimes she'll just send me a cute little text. So I also use those things as well too. I think you guys know that I have grandchildren, and for them, I tend to pull a lot of things off of Facebook, and their parents know that as well too. But anyway, so this is the first album. There are 22 pages, or I'm sorry, 42 layouts. That's what I should say. 42 layouts in this particular album, so that you know about how many. I like to put about 20 pages in an album. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mat off, because I'll be able to slide this album back and forth a little bit easier so you can see all the pages. So anyway, so I like to put about 20 page protectors, which is 40 pages. With this particular one, I didn't like where it was ending, so I added one more in. Sorry about that, guys. I had a little frog in my throat there for a second. So anyway, this is the opening page of the album. It's just to really recognize that this is his album. So I'm using a lot of Echo Park paper here. That's what most of the paper and most of the embellishments actually are. It's the Bundle of Joy collections and the Sweet Baby Boy collection, I believe is the name of the other collection. So this is just an intro page with his photo of him, literally his newborn photo here when he was really, you know, moments old here. And I did include my niece saved like the card from his, this is the card from his, not layette, but his little baby crib thing. So, she saved that. She saved a couple of things from that. Now, I've gone back and forth about how to do this, but I decided that in his baby album, I wanted to include some things about his parents, because without his parents, he wouldn't be here, right? So I did 2 pages. One of them, I did a collage, and this is just a collage from Photosheet, which is a free program you can use for your computer. So I did this Photosheet collage of photos of them when they were dating, not necessarily any particular photos, but just ones that I thought really epitomized who they were. And then I also did their wedding album, actually wedding albums, which that is in my playlist as well, and I'll put this in a playlist as well too for baby stuff. But anyway, this is their wedding photo. So I did just a simple version of that, just basically who they are. So I did go back and forth about whether I should start with this, because the one on this side with them dating, or if I should start with this very first thing. But I thought it's his baby album. It's really his story. They're part of it, but it's his story. So that's what I decided on in the end. So then going from their wedding, this is my niece just a couple of weeks before she delivered him. Actually, it's about a month before she delivered him. So I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to have in the book. And then here, and I'm using, again, a lot of those, the Echo Park pieces. If I remember, I'll tell you when it's not. And then this is a picture of the heart monitor that she was on. She was actually induced, so they were monitoring her pretty closely here. I'm using a lot of frames. It just felt like when I have a piece of paper like this that has an all-over pattern that goes to the edges with actual things like the flags and that kind of a thing, I really like to put it in a frame. That's just, it feels complete to me. That's my thing. Then here is a picture. This is again right in the hospital right after he was born. A little chipboard here. This is actually a Bella Boulevard alphabet here. And then I used a Fiskars, or not a Fiskars punch. This is a border sticker. Never mind. So, all right. And then I think this piece of paper, oh, nope, it is. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was part of it. This is a crazy design, and if you had too much more of this, you wouldn't be able to look at it, but because I used the strip, it was okay. So this next page is one of my favorite pages because this was a collaboration. My niece saved his baby hat, their arm bands and leg bands for him, and then this contains his footprints. It you know, flips up, and I could cut this page protector now. I might do that before I give it to them because it would be easier. That would be a simple thing for me to do, as a matter of fact, when I'm done with this. But anyway, so that it's an ephemera page here, but I love that his little hat from the hospital is going to be in this baby album. So this is a picture of my nephew, who is actually the blood relation to me. But his wife, my niece, they dated for 8 years. They've dated, I'm sorry, yes, they dated for 8 years. They've known each other since really they were very, very little. They grew up in the same hometown. So I think they like knew each other in preschool even. But anyway, so she's been my niece for a long, long time. Long before they were married even. So I love this picture of that little peanutty boy with there's his hat. So that's my nephew. And then this is my niece. And again, here's that all over sort of pattern. So I have a little bit of a frame behind that. And just some ephemera. Just layers, layers, layers of paper. This one I liked. It was just something, I had a lot of stickers that had a lot of words in these collections and bigger things, and I didn't know how I was always going, how I'd use them all. So I just started putting them down the side of this design, and I'll use a version of this, dividing. I think this is 3 inches and then this is 9 inches here. I'll use a version of this often, but I've never done this. So I thought that was kind of fun. Something a little different. Then here's the photo from when they brought my great nephew home. So there's even a little card that says bringing you home. There's one thing on this that I did that I didn't notice until it was too late, and I don't love it, but it's okay because of the side that this is on. So normally when I do a page, everything that embellishes it looks into the page and into the photos. This stork here is actually looking to the page next to it. But I think because it's sitting on the right side versus the left, if it had been on the left, it would really have bothered me. I did not have another piece of this paper left, though, at the time anyway. I have since bought a little bit more because I've got a lot more pictures of him to scrapbook. Anyway, so I think it works just because it's looking into the middle of the album, but be careful of that. It's the first time I've caught myself where I caught that in a long, long time. And he looks like such a little peanut here. When I first met him, he was 7 weeks old, and he now just turned 4 months old, and I'm going to get to see him in a couple of weeks. It's just kind of crazy. So this page I love as well. It turned out like really cool. So they gave them like instructions, and she saved those on like things to expect on hygiene and nutrition, and then his like weight and age and that kind of stuff. And this is at the pediatricians were on these. So she saved them, and I was trying to figure out how to do this. And I decided, you know what? All I really need to do is tuck those into the page protector. So I went and I got a piece of basil paper that happened to coordinate. Now, I did not scrapbook these in order, by the way, guys. I just scrapbooked them, and then they fell together because I was using a lot of the same collection. But even if they didn't, that would be okay. So I grabbed this basil paper, just tucked these in. I put a little border sticker here, wrote the put thickers that spell the word checkups on it, and then this little chipboard ruler piece on it with a little bow tied into it. And that's it. That's a simple. So any more of these that she has, she can just keep putting them in and save those for him. All right, so then this is actually the day that he did go to the pediatrician. So I might actually, now I think about it, I might flip these 2 pages, but it's okay the way it is too. So the picture of the 3 of them, and just a, little stroller here because they're going out of the house for the first time. This is kind of fun. It's came from an old Pebbles collection that I can't remember what it was called, but it was a baby boy collection that I had when I scrapbooked one of my grandsons. And so I had some paper left, and this says birth of 36 months boy. So I thought that was cool that that worked for their pediatrician visit. Now I flipped over to another paper collection, and I do not remember what this is. It coordinates in with some of the blues here, but it doesn't coordinate exactly, but I loved it, and I decided to give the book a little bit of variety because I liked that. So this is their first visitors. It's his, so these are my 2 nephews actually here, and then their wives, and then my great nephew. So wanted to make sure that got documented. They both live on the East Coast, but they live about 2 hours away from each other. The day after they came home, these guys actually hopped a train in the morning, went, visited the baby, and hopped the train home. So I just thought that was sweet. We were also touched by that, and that there was somebody from their families out there to visit their brand new baby. So anyway, because they're in a city where they don't know a lot of people yet. All right, so then this is the photos of them actually, with him, with the baby. I love this because these stars are kind of coppery, and then there's a little coppery here. A lot of the accents actually on both of these pages, now that I think about it, and they all are on this one, and like the die cuts and cut aparts and that kind of stuff, and then also on this one are all from Elle Studio. So, and I think this might be a Paige Evans Thickers alpha, but I don't remember that for sure. And then here's a picture that my other nephew took of mommy and daddy with the baby. And so again, these are really Elle Studio. This is a Bella Boulevard. I did put one doily in this book, guys, at least one, even though it's baby boy. That's okay. He's soft and sweet here. And then these are a Martha Stewart punch with some recollections paper. And you can see these don't match exactly, but that doesn't bother me in my regular album. It's not going to bother me here. These blues are coordinating back to each other. So here's probably my favorite picture of him that has been taken in his 4 months of life. He looked like Mr. Magoo here, the old cartoon character, for those of you of a certain age. It's just so cute. So that's my little nickname for him. He doesn't look quite as much like Mr. Magoo, and I think really it was his face, his facial expression there. He's got his eyes closed and he's kind of squinching his forehead a little bit. But anyway, so we're back to the mostly the Echo Park collections with a little bit of Basil paper and then some American Crafts letters. And then these are Elle Studio puffy stickers. By the way, if you have any questions about specific layouts in here, just leave a comment. I know I get behind in comments because I'm getting so many more comments, especially I'm doing this in December, especially because I'm doing a layout a day in December. But I see all of the comments, and if you ask me a specific question, I do answer that right away, just so that you know that. So, but to all of you who are leaving comments on my layouts, thank you. I read each and every one of them, even if I don't get time to answer them all. All right, so here is another layout here. This is a special blanket that my brother and his wife sent him for a baby gift. Really, my sister-in-law sent him. So, you know, brothers not so much. And then so that I wanted to get documented. Here's a little card that came with it because she ordered it online with his name. And then I loved I don't know why it came to me. Shamel did a layout like this a long time ago with like a banner, and it was a little bit different. Well, actually, it was a lot of different. It wasn't as big. It was in the middle of the page. But anyway, I remembered that and just decided to do that with this. For some reason, it was calling me to cut that out. All right, so this one is just a cute little picture of my Mr. Magoo, and he was still sleeping like this a lot, and it was freaking my niece out a little bit. And we're like, oh, but he was all scrunched up for, you know, months and months and months when he was inside you. So, and I'm going to fix this just a little bit, this eye here has slid. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I don't, really want to be fixing stuff while you're watching, but sometimes it happens. So this was where I MacGyvered an alphabet quite a bit. Some of these layouts are on YouTube. Some of them are not, just because I had so many to do that I just, when I had some time to scrapbook, sometimes I scrapbooked and didn't do it with the camera. So anyway, in American Crafts, I MacGyvered, this E was a B, this T was an F. Actually, no, these T's were normal. So this E was a B. The R, there's a K here. The leg is the K. This I was cut from something. This A was a V. So I do like MacGyvering those alphabets. Anyway, these are such cute pictures of him. How could we not include them? The other thing I did that I haven't really done a ton of is I took a 3x4 card and I put it up at the top here. And then I journaled on it up there and just cut it off. So I actually think I need to do that a little bit more often. And now that I just caught this giraffe is actually facing into the center again. So, must have just, I don't know, I was doing all the interesting things that I normally do, I guess. Okay, this is back to that other paper collection whose name I can't remember. This one was kind of fun. I took a bag from that L's Studio sends their 3x4 cards in sometimes, and use that as a layer underneath the photo. It took just a journaling card here from somewhere else because I didn't have any embellishments for this collection, and just added 3 layers of washi tape to embellish that. A couple little pieces from a Thickers collection, chipboard collection, and then a couple hearts with that Martha Stewart punch again, but this time on foil paper. So then here, back again to the Echo Park collections, but I did take a journaling card and make my own tag here. That was a Mambi journaling card. And then this is a Thickers set as well. That's a baby collection. So again, I don't remember what it is, but if you have specific questions, let me know and I can get you the names of that. And then I have a couple of puffy hearts from Ellie's Studio there. So digging in my stash a little. This is a 2-page layout, and I can get it all on here for you. That's a good thing to know as I do this. This is meeting my nieces, mom, stepdad, and grandmother are here to meet their grandson and great-grandson. So I wanted this to be a really nice spread of all those photos of everybody there. All right, so again, stickers and just all those Echo Park collections. This is a layout that I love. This is great-grandma, one of his great-grandmas. He has not met my mom yet. My mom lives across the country from where they do. So she will be meeting him when she is back in the Midwest for Christmas. So, and will be back here as well. They're all going to be here after Christmas. Well, my mom will be here before Christmas, but they'll be here after Christmas. All right, so I'm going to actually pull this over so you can really see it. So just a sweet photo that I really wanted to document separately because she just loves him so. And then this is actually an Ellie's Studio 3x4 card that I just cut the tag out of and used it on the layout because it worked with the colors. The blue worked with the colors here. And this is just another layout. You know, they're taking opportunities to get pictures of them as parents here. So that collection here. And this time I remembered to put the stork on the correct side. I'm MacGyvering alphabets here again because here's that E was a B. I can tell because they get really narrow. So you can do that. This N is actually a U. This is a V. Or actually that is a U that I just MacGyvered into an A. You can take 8s and make them into S's. You know, R's can turn into P's. Lots of fun little ways to make your thickers stretch. Okay, so this is a cute story. This is like their first one of their forays out and about being tourists while his grandparents were there. And the big thing I noticed about this, they were taking a picture of him with the skyline in the background and the river in the background of where they live. but I saw the stroller fan. So, you know, I'm in my 50 somethings, and those certainly weren't around even at the age of his father. So, it was a pretty warm day here, or warmish day. So the stroller fan was on. And when I went out there, we used the stroller fan as well, too. So I titled this Millennial Baby because he has things, of course, that I didn't even know existed. So, and layers and layers and layers of paper. I did this a couple times where instead of making a frame all the way around, I cut off the paper and then just set it into a corner here. And then this is, I think it works. I think you'd have to be careful about what side you're putting something on if you're a little bit OCD about that kind of stuff, because it would look a little bit funny and maybe not quite as balanced if it was sitting on this side, because this looks like it just belongs in the gutter between the two, which is what this is called, guys. Not that I'm putting my great nephew in the gutter. Okay, so them on the harbor with him here. And then I just pulled in some gold letters here, which as I look at this is not exactly the same gold as that, but oh well, it is what it is. It's on there. And here I'm using, it's probably very hard for you to see this, and it's under my camera mount so I can't see it, but there's some clear stickers on this one. And lots of layers of paper here, and I'm starting to use scraps here. This is one of the layouts I did towards the end, so I was trying to use up some of my scraps. All right, this is probably my favorite photo of my nephew with his son. Just that precious, that hand. They were both sleeping, actually. So just that silver alphabet here. I didn't use much of that in this. I'm hoping I'm going to use it more when I go to the second book, because I won't use, at the second book, I'm going to start scrapbooking and letting the colors inspire me, because I have their family photos to do, and their family photos will not work as well on this collection because they're wearing blue and coral. I know there's coral in it for sure, so it would not look great. A whole bunch of them anyway. So some of the stars, just to get that silver in, because I knew it, you know, it's a little bit, there's more yellow here, but I do like the silver on here. So love this photo. I did, by the way, all these layouts are dated in, if nothing else, just so that they know the days, because there's lots of different days here. So this is my niece's brother and his longtime girlfriend here. So new uncle and aunt here, because this is their first niece or nephew. As is actually my nephew, other nephew too. It's his first as well too, but I just didn't want to use the title meeting again because I'd used that already. And then this is all coming from that Echo Park collection, those Echo Park collections again as well, including these stickers. These stickers are from Webster's Pages, but the rest of them are Echo Park. Oh, guys, look what I just found. I'm glad I did this. No big deal, because I can just take this layout here out. Oh, isn't that funny? I'm glad that I did this walkthrough with you. Of course, now the layout won't come out. There we go. Anyway, there, much better. I want to make sure that's in. Okay. One more page protector. And actually that means that there are 20 pages in here. So 40 layouts. All right. This is a bath photo, and this paper here from that other collection reminded me of bath water. So I used that. This paper is from that same collection, and so is this. This paper, this little bit of gray and this navy, is from that Pebbles Boy collection that I used. This little routine sticker is a Bella Boulevard sticker. This is an Elle Studio card. More of those stars from that other alpha, that foam alpha. And then these are from Bella Boulevard or Illustrated Faith. Kind of depends on how they labeled them, but it's Illustrated Faith was made by Bella Boulevard, although they announced just recently that they are no longer going to be doing that, as they kind of figure out what to do, as the owner of the company is very, very sick. So sad. Anyway, so that's that layout. Then this is actually my brother-in-law and sister meeting their first grandson for the first time. Lots of layers here and a sweet hello. And I can tell, I know my brother, obviously I know my brother-in-law very well, and I can tell that he's got a big old smile on his face because I can see his eyes crinkling there. I just thought this was so sweet and kind of just a more of a real life kind of look. Okay, so then here, this is, I wanted to call this 3 generations, but the generations, I didn't have all the right letters, so I just called it 3 boys instead. And it is not a great photo of my brother-in-law, but it's a precious photo because of the 3 of them together. And frankly, sometimes that's what happens, right? That there were other photos in here that weren't great or weren't greatly composed, and I don't really care. They're important memories, and they're an important part of his life. So that's an important thing to do. This was kind of a fun one. If you had a 6x6 pad, you could basically do what I did here. This I actually cut to fit this, but you know, they were scraps. Again, I was using scraps. So I just cut the 2 squares, a band across, and then just embellished it with a couple of clusters here. So that's a layout that I should remember to do because that was a fun one. All right. This one is kind of funny. And now that, oh, I was going to say, and now that I look at it, I have it in sideways. So let me get this. So look, it looks like he's standing. Oh, sorry, guys. Looks like he's standing up, but he can't stand. He's a brand new baby here. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so here is that page format that I was telling you about where I do either, sometimes I do 3, sometimes I do 4, and sometimes I do 5 inches in this block and then whatever's left over there. And here again, I was using up scraps, because this is these are getting towards the end of scrapbooking. Some of these I really did do almost in chronological order as I figured out I was getting very close. And I want to give this to them at Christmas this year. So I'm like, I have to get these done before the Christmas season gets really wild. So the weekend before I'm actually narrating this, I scrapbooked a lot of layouts. I was scrapping with a friend. So anyway, he's laughing here, and it's so cute. He laughed a lot even when he was little. This is an old sassafras alphabet. I think everything else on here is Echo Park. Yep. All right. So here is another layout, and this is another one where the pictures aren't really technically perfect, but my niece loves these photos because he has such odd expressions. Like he looks kind of mad here and then neutral, and here he is kind of laughing and smiling with those gummy teeth, or that gummy mouth, which is really cute. So I titled this one Your Face. I mounted my title up on that banner. Originally, I stuck that banner down, and I knew I shouldn't have. I have a hard time using banners, guys. They're like kryptonite to me. So, you know, they are what they are. But anyway, so I was going to put the title here, and then when I put that chipboard there, it wouldn't have worked, and I didn't have enough room up here because the alphabet would have been too tall. So I just thought, I'm going to just put it on the banner, and that worked out just fine. There's a lot of stickers like these. This is chipboard, but these are stickers, but I was using my foam tape. As a matter of fact, during this process last weekend, I finally used up my big giant roll of foam tape that I bought 4 years ago at this time of year. So crazy. Okay. I'm going to fix this as well too. I don't want to forget to go back, and since we're all here together, I may actually have to pull this out. Sorry, guys. Oh yeah, because it has wrapped itself around the other side. That's what the problem was there. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'll put these back to back here. This is real life scrapbooking, real life videoing. That's what happens when I go live. I can't edit out stuff that might not be quite so convenient. Okay. Much better. It is a very good thing that I went through this album with you. Okay, I love this because he's laughing here again, and then he's got a funny expression on his face. But I just like the contrast between the really dark top here and the lighter or a little, but it's bold, still bold, but lighter green. And then just that little piece of Bella Boulevard washi tape across the page here. And it's titled Tickle You because this is my niece's hand tickling him so he'll keep laughing is what that is, why that's titled that. So, and I love this green alpha. I need more of those because I'm almost out. Okay, then this one is, I told you I'm from the Midwest. I'm actually from Wisconsin, so we're all Packer fans here despite all the craziness that is going on up in Green Bay right now. And so my mom actually bought him this onesie, and I think this was right before the first game, and it was way too big for him. So my niece just kind of laid it on him and then sent us all a picture of our little Packer fans. So when I went out, I found him a little outfit that actually would fit him at that time too, because, you know, that was when we still had hope for the season. So anyway, and then this one I did, I did the big banner coming down the page. Here I did it coming across, and then it felt like it was floating, so I just took a piece of Bella Boulevard washi tape in a green that coordinated with the papers here and put it under it, and boom, I had a shelf for that to lay on, so it didn't feel like it wasn't anchored. I think if there had been another piece of paper here and it came out of that, it might have felt like it was a little bit more anchored, but anyway, that's why that is like that with the washi tape. Here's the other doily. I thought I had two of them in here. This is me. So this is me with my sweet little baby boy nephew, and he liked to be with you, and he liked to be against you, but he liked to be all scrunched up. So that's kind of, it looks like I'm holding him awkwardly, but it's because that's the way he wanted to be held. So that's just the two of us together here, and I just wrote him a note about it. So happy to meet him, the snuggly little boy. So, and I think, yeah, there's a date on here as well too. Like I said, I dated everything somewhere, and I love how that doily looks. I'm a girl, so we can do doilies there, right? Okay, then this is probably one of my favorite stories. So this is when I was out there visiting him, and I literally just completed, this is one of the two layouts I just completed before I started videoing the book here. He was giving his mommy and daddy a really hard time sleeping. He wasn't sleeping, and they discovered he would fall asleep to the bathroom fan. But the minute you took him away from the bathroom fan and put him in his bed, he would wake back up. So he was being a pistol the day I got there, and he was fighting sleep so much that I took him into the fan to the bathroom. He fell asleep. When I went to put him down, he'd been sleeping in my arms for at least 5 minutes. He woke right back up. So we put him in his little, I think boppy pillow. I think that's what those are called. And in front of the bathroom is right here, so he's not in the wind from the fan. But we put him in that boppy pillow, and he fell right asleep and slept for like 2 hours, the little stinker. So that had to go in here because, frankly, that him not sleeping he's not a good sleeper. That my poor nephew and niece. So I did hear that he just today tried his first solid food. So maybe when he's on solid food, he'll be a little bit better about that because I can feed him a lot and he still doesn't sleep. So anyway, this too was a sketch that Alyssa, and I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but Hansler, I think, she was doing a layout, and I was watching it while I was scrapbooking the other layout I did here, and I'm like, ooh, that would be great for this photo. So it didn't have this bottom border here, and it was actually flipped, and the clusters were different, but the basic, this top thing and this cluster here, and the way kind of the papers are sort of arranged was from that. So watching scrapbooking videos all the time while I'm scrapbooking is actually kind of cool. This is another, like a layout with just the, not banner, but the paper right down the center. But this time I moved it out just a little bit here and did 3 layers of paper behind it. So you could see the progression of photos here, because he was doing tummy time and he hated tummy time. I think as a lot of kids do. And he was so mad, he actually rolled himself all the way over. So these pictures are not great because he's actually in motion here, and I took him with a phone, and he was like almost to the point of getting ready to scream. It was kind of ugly. So I have this set of stamps from Chamel that is for things like this, when things are not so nice. And then I also have some Pink Fresh Studio, I can't remember what the name of that collection is, but it was like a real life collection. And so I pulled the pieces that I could to work with this. So this one had a green. So this one says not cool. That one says yikes. This one says oh geez. This says precious baby because it's so ironic. And then the stamps say nope, ugh, not the plan, no thank you. And then there's one here that says hashtag real life. And this one says, why me, not why now? So I just thought that they were really funny. And guys, I stamped on a layout, and I stamped a lot on this layout. And I actually really like how it turned out. I don't love that this is not like it's light towards the middle and dark, but I've kind of played with my stamps a little bit and figured out how to get rid of that now. Amazing what happens when you do a little more stamping. You get better at it. This is an old sticker layout from a sticker sheet from Chickanity Studio. That's where that came from. All right, and then last but not least, this is the second to last layout I just finished. So this is him just looking at me, I think, as I'm taking their picture. This is my nephew, and he was being very, very curious. So I put these little monkey embellishments on here because he was like being a curious little monkey there. And this white paper is from that white line paper is from that Pebbles Boy collection, and then this is a Jilly Bean Soup alphabet there. So guys, there you go. That is the 40 pages for my nephew's baby album, at least volume 1 of his baby album. Really just volume 1 of the albums now that he has arrived, because that's not going to stop. I'll be scrapbooking them. So, you know, I have 3 grandkids to scrapbook, and I have him to scrapbook. I will never run out of material, much less all my own photos. So anyway, I hope you guys are all well, and I will be back with another layout again soon. Bye!